Alright, let's talk about the MMA account. There was Schneider with the IC program and leasing your truck. Shit. Sorry about my cough, man. I got sick a couple weeks ago. I came down with the flu, actually. And the doctor said it's still, that cough's going to linger probably up to a month. So, but anyway, yeah, Schneider's MMA account. You know, everybody keeps saying, don't participate in it, don't do this, don't do that. When you first come here, you have to start. You have to. So, like, that comes with starting here. It's just their way of making sure you're able to pay for maintenance on this truck. Now, you don't have to participate after, I think it's like a year or somewhere around there. I'm not sure like the full terms of it. I can't remember. But that's something to, check with your finance rep, stuff like that, when you call them. Now, I mean, when you first start here, you have to. So, and that's not Schneider. That's Schneider Finance, SFI, where you get your truck from. They want to make sure you have, a set amount of money, and you may not use it all. You may use more than that, more than what they're taking out. I don't know. Can't tell you. But, I mean, the cool thing about it, when you first starting out here, because you're a company driver, or maybe you're an owner operator, I don't know what you are, but it kind of helps you get started as far as making sure you're not mixing business with pleasure in a way. So, like, let's say let's say you end up having $4,000. If you weren't participating in an MMA account, you have $4,000, and you're like, oh, you know what? The truck would look nice if I just if I put a drop-down visor on it, or maybe chromed it out a little bit, or put a guardrail in the front, or bumper rail. Do all this accessory type stuff to the truck, and then all of a sudden, 2 of your drives blow. I don't know about you, but when I replace tires, I want it to be, if I don't get a used one put on there for temporary, I want everything to be level. I mean, that's just, so I'm not leaning to the right, I'm not leaning to the left, there's no wobble, There's a guy I talked to a couple weeks ago. He said he replaced one of his steer tires, and then like 3-4 months later he replaced the other one. Like, to me, that was, you might as well replace both of those at the same time. Like, that's gonna screw everything up. So I mean, if you're a company driver and you're switching over here, it just it helps you, separate the two and kind of get into that business mindset of, hey, I got to keep money to the side, because this is how much money I'm, after you get to where you don't have to use that MMA account, you'll have a good idea of, like, hey, I use this much amount, out of that MMA account, so that's kind of where I'm going to be, generally, not, because shit happens. You don't know what's going to happen, but you have a general idea of what you need to put back, after you opt out of it. Now, it is like, it's kind of a pain in the ass, yeah, because, like, I get a PM done if like if I don't have time or something like that, if I like my last PM, I did it at a TA. I don't like getting PMs at places. I like doing a lot of that work by myself because it's filters, oil, grease, like shit you can do easily. The clutch, you climb under there, and there's a little hole in there, you know, where you can reach to adjust your clutch. Like, you know, I learned all that stuff prior to becoming over here. But anyway, that's beside the point. But, you know, I have to call, like when I get my fuel filters, I have to call Packard. That's who, you know, I have Kenworth, but that's who makes the truck and shit like that. So I call them, tell them, hey, I'm gonna stop up here at you know, Kenworth, and let's say you're right there in Indiana. What's that, off of 80 and 60, like where 80 and 69 come together. Let's say you're stopping at that Kenworth up there, and you know you're gonna stop there. You gotta kind of plan it out because it does take a while. You'll call them, say, hey, I'm gonna go over here. Take like 45 minutes, you know. And if you wait until you get there to call them, then it's like, you know, you gotta wait 45 minutes almost to get approved for them to use your MMA account. So call ahead of time and be like, hey, can you set me up if you just want to get PMs, stuff like that. Hey, set me up for, you know, a PM in, you know, this area that I'm going to be in, and they'll set you up. And they'll be like, yeah, you know, go to the TA, or there's a TA by where I shut down. That's when I did that one. And the reason I don't like doing it at TAs and stuff is because one, they deal with a lot of trucks, and they just try to get you in and out of there. And the other thing too, the fuel filter they put on there is not the right one. It's actually a little bit smaller. So that right there, I mean, smaller fuel filter is gonna get you know, it's gonna go out a lot quicker. So I mean, that's just me. And actually the same thing with cars. You know, I wasn't in town for, you know, changing my wife's oil, and she kind of, when her thing tells her to get it changed, she kind of freaks out. She's like, oh, I gotta change. So I told her to go get it changed, and then next time I was home, I went to change it. The oil filter they got, smaller oil filter. Like, it fits on there, you know, screws on there and stuff, but it's smaller than what is recommended. So that's one thing to take into consideration too about doing your own stuff, like small stuff, not like the block and stuff like that. Like, you know, yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on the MMA account. It's good to get you in the door, just so you have an idea of what you're setting to the side, what you have to set to the side. But then, you know, after, if you feel comfortable with separating yourself, if you can do it, if you can separate, you know, business from pleasure, then, you know, take yourself off the MMA account after you're allowed to. Just opt out of it. One is going to bring your total payment down, and you're going to have access to that cash right now, and then just go from there. So yeah, I hope this video was a little bit helpful. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. The feedback has been pretty cool. You know, I like talking to everybody. I like that, you know, conversation. Not that bullshit that everybody's doing right now as far as hating on each other. But alright, have a good one, man.